All right, I think I might be back here. Um, I apologize again. I tried this yesterday. Was told there was an accident in my area and that they were going to fix things. My internet seems to be running okay today, and I just got on here, and guess what? It doesn't seem to be working any better. I think I'll stay on here as long as I can until this, unless this just like goes to hell again. But yeah, it seems to be buffering again. Is it any better? Anybody watching, listening? I can't even see you know, the amount of people like I usually can. Something strange is going on here. Who is out there today? Anybody? Yeah, something doesn't seem right here. What are you guys up to? Use the chat. Use the chat. Johnny Guitars, what's up? So you're hearing me, you're seeing me. Is there any buffering issues with the video? Yesterday was a nightmare. I had to cut this short. Can you hear the guitar? How's that sound? Too loud, too soft? Let me know and I can try to adjust here. To me, from what I'm seeing, it seems like the video is not cooperating. So I don't know what you guys are seeing on your end. I hope it's a little better than what I'm seeing here. Slight buffering delay on my voice. All right. Well, let's see how it goes. If it gets really annoying, just let me know and I'll try this another day. I just reset my modem, my router, all that stuff, and it doesn't seem like it's wants to cooperate. And now my Helix, which I have on the floor next to me as I usually do, is the editor says it's not connected to the device. So let's see if that does anything. Who else is here? I know it's more than just Johnny and I. Yeah, I'm gonna reboot my Helix too because nothing's cooperating. I don't know what the problem is. The first couple of times I did this as tests to make sure this stuff was working, everything was working fine. Now when I actually want to do, you know, a normal stream here, nothing's working. So I'm sorry again about that. I don't know. My Helix editor says device not connected even though it's on, everything's plugged in. Service is not online. Not sure what's up with that, but I think, oh, here it is. It just came back up. Cool. All right, I'm gonna try this again and see how I'm like yesterday. I'm still expecting a phone call. I got all kinds of stuff going on with my house, so from the storm that we had last week. So that might be one reason I cut this short. But the main reason for this whole thing was to talk a little bit about Chad Boston's outside the box, or OTB as he's calling it. EQ, I guess you can call it EQ, I don't know, EQ impulse. It's not really an impulse, it's just a certain way of, from what it, to me what it seems like he did was tried to match the frequencies of guitar speakers. So something like that, but not really. Chad will have a better answer for that, I'm sure soon, but so this, I threw some presets together, just very simple presets. Man, that is weird. My Helix editor is on, but it's not showing any Yeah, nothing's changed. Nothing's doing anything on this. So what I'm gonna do is shut the editor off for a little while. What's up, Marcel? Glad you are back. Alright, so let's just get down to it. So I made some presets based off of Chad's OTB EQ curve, and I did like a plexi, the 800, the 800 mod, the PB Panama 5150. Yeah, Marcel, I tried disconnecting USB. I tried rebooting the editor. I tried rebooting my my Helix. Not working. So I'll try it again in a few minutes. This is the only time this has happened now. It happened yesterday too, where my internet stream, when the buffering problem I was having yesterday, if you were here, caused the Helix to, for some reason, the editor not to work with the USB. I don't know if it's a bug or I don't know what's going on, but anyway. So let's hear the guitar tone. This is the Plexi model amp with Chad's EQ instead of cabinet, with just a reverb on it. So let me know if that sounds okay as far as volume and anything like that. What I will try to do is, and I tried to do this yesterday, is compare. I'll pull up one of my presets and see what the difference is in sound. I hear a major difference as far as the presets that I have in using this method, and neither one is better or worse. It's just different. And like I said yesterday, I have not had a chance to record with this method or play live with it. I'm not sure I'm going to attempt that this weekend, because I would really need to test this through a PA before I decided to use it this way, because what I'm hearing is through my small studio monitors I have here. Levels are okay. All right, good. So my small studio monitors, the M Audios, the AV40s is what they are. The tone is good, but there's some, I don't want to say buzzing, there's some like crackling sound going on. And I don't have the gain's not like dimed like I usually have it. So I'm not sure what it is, and it's a very centered sound, whereas my presets sound wider to me for some reason. That's just the amp, the Plexi amp model, Plexi Bright, I believe, and I do have an OD in front of it, but it's not on right now. Let me try this editor again to see if it's gonna cooperate or not. But so that's Chad's OTB EQ curve. The editor is just, right now it's just spinning on my computer, so something weird is going on here. Let me turn over to one of my presets so we can kind of compare. Here we go. The editor is back up. It looks like it's gonna work. All right, cool. I got two monitors here. They're up high, so if you see me like looking up, that's what I'm looking at. All right, so standard rhythm. That is the Marshall from my 2 amp rig. The 2 amp rig that I have up on Custom Tone in. Johnny, which one are you talking about? Was it the first thing I played or when I switched tones? Now compared to that, to me that one sounds a little bit fuller. Like I said, through my little monitors here. Now yesterday I mentioned this, when I play it through the Firehawk, the OTB, it sounded better to my ears. So it could be that it's just these little tiny speakers that I have it coming through, which, you know, normally guitar is not meant to come through small speakers like that. So how does that compare what you guys are hearing? Because I don't know what you're hearing over there, whatever you're listening through. The OTB, which I'll go back. I'll do the SLO lead, the Soldano. Maybe not. The editor is going crazy again. Let me see. All right. That is the SLO lead with the OTB, and now I will go back to my preset that I use own hammer impulse responses, if this editor would cooperate. Switch picks. I got a broken pick. Alright, so now you're hearing kind of both. The second one sounds really good, nice and full, listening to Rocket 5s. Alright, so you're basically, I mean, I believe these are 5s that I'm listening through too, so like I said, I hear a big difference as far as fullness and as far as spatial sound. Like mine to me sound wider, and it's in stereo, but I didn't change my my ins and outs on the Helix. It should be going stereo on that other preset too. Let me go back to that Soldano OTB. See, it sounds really good, and Chad, I gotta give Chad props for coming up with, you know, a new method or another. I'm sure somebody else has thought of this before, but the first I'm seeing of it was Chad posting it. So, kudos to Chad for coming up with this method. It's just like he says, it's not this or that. It's, you know, use it when you want to use it. Use IRs when you want to use them. Whatever the job requires or whatever tone you're looking for. Like I said, I am not sure if or when I will use this live, and I think I had said yesterday that I'm going to, we do sound check Friday night. If there's time, I might pull up one of these other presets and go out front with my wireless and see kind of how I'll have someone in the band or somebody else, you know, go back and forth with the presets and see what the difference sounds like out front. I just shared on Facebook, I just shared a video of our show last weekend, which was the Helix going direct, and that's with my tone that you heard previously here. And it was direct to board, so you're actually hearing what the Helix sounds like. And I thought it sounded really good. I actually had four different people come up to me after the show. Two of them were sound guys, different sound guys. I said the guitar sounded fantastic, so that's a good thing, because on stage I didn't have my in-ears that night. We were using the wedges, and I had the Firehawk, but I didn't really turn it up because I didn't want to blast people in front. But I couldn't really hear it on stage, but out front through that video it sounded great. What do we got here? Marcel says in-ears with the phone. He likes the IR slightly more, less harsh mid-range, I guess. Yeah, I guess yeah, that makes sense. I'm hearing a little of that too, but they're completely different sounds. Let me pull up the Marshall in my preset is the 2204 mod. So let me pull up the OTB 2204 that I made. And I'm gonna put on the green screamer, the tube screamer, whatever they call it. So that's actually the 2204 with the OTB EQ curve. So now I will go to my tone again that has the 2204 mod with I'm pretty sure they own hammers, two of them. Let me double check that. Actually, no, there's one. It is own hammer 412 Marshall, the checkerboard V30. So that's my, and again, it just sounds fuller, bigger. It sounds, maybe bigger is the word. It sounds bigger here. But I think there's definitely more bottom end on it. I dialed a lot of bottom end out of the EQ curve because it was just, I don't like a really boomy bottom end, and that's what I was getting. So I put a low and high cut after that EQ block that I usually do anyway with impulse responses of the cabs. Johnny likes mine better. See, that's the thing. I guess it's each person's gonna like one or the other, and again, it's not a which one's better. It's just I'm just trying to figure out. I think Chad's thing is really cool. I'm just trying to figure out where I actually need to tweak to get it even better than it is, because I do like what I'm hearing from that. It's just something a little off with it that maybe Chad, if Chad's watching or Chad sees this at some point, that he can answer that question. But like I said, it's just cool to have another option to mess around with and possibly use and not have to go crazy buying impulse responses. I've got a bunch of them, and sometimes I've used the stock cab, sometimes I've used own hammers, I've used Celestians. The 3 Sigma, I have a couple of their packs. I don't like them. Those don't sound natural to me. They sound, there's way too much bottom end in those. I think I have the Friedman and the EVH I have. And I've played both actual cabinets, and they didn't sound like that to me. So maybe I got a bum one, but I prefer the Celestian or the own hammer. All right, Johnny says Chad's needs a little more bottom end. That's exactly what I'm hearing. Maybe I just took too much out. The other thing, like I said, Chad's the sound seems like it's in the middle of my speakers, whereas my sound sounds like it's like almost the full spectrum. It's probably just a setting. I can add something to his that'll make it more comparable. But let me go to, let's see, what else do I have here? The 5150 or the PV Panama OTB. So that is the 5150. Again, I like the tone. It's just different. It's just different to my ears. And maybe it was meant to sound different. Now, as far as getting more of an amp in the room feel, when I play through these small monitors, I don't get that. I don't get that at all. It just sounds like a modeler to me. If I play it through the Firehawk, which I'm going to try that now. I don't know. I have it on. I don't know if it's going to pick up or it's going to sound right to you guys. Let me hold on one second and turn off this Helix. Hold on one sec. Just trying to. I'm going to play something. Eddie's back. Hey, Eddie. Yeah, the audio and video signal's not synced up. They actually are synced up. It's just I think my my internet is just going wacko again today, and it's not. It's probably buffering and just off. So I don't think there's anything I can do about that. But now I'm gonna let you see what I'm doing here. Hold on a sec. Alright, I'm gonna do this. Can you guys hear that? Other than it coming through my microphone here. Hold on. Could you hear any of that guitar that I was just playing when I was holding the guitar up? Alright, you couldn't hear that. Good. Alright, so good. So what I'm going to do is keep that off. That was the direct, the Helix into my stuff here, my computer stuff. That was direct. So now I'm going to turn on the Firehawk and just let the mic I have up here that I'm talking through, you probably can hear that tapping. I'm going to let that try to pick this up. And I don't know how it's going to translate to you guys, but let's see. Let me know if it's too loud, too soft. Hold on a second. I'm going to turn that down. Yep, this is the Firehawk that's right next to me here. It's close, kind of close to the microphone, so I'm going to let the mic pick it up. Let me know if you can hear it. If it's loud enough, I can turn it up. If it's too loud, I can turn it down. Can you guys hear that? All right, it's loud enough. Good. That was the PV Panama OTB, Chad's OTB. So, what I was saying before, through the little studio monitors, I don't get that amp in the room feel or sound, but through the Firehawk, it's much better as far as that kind of feel. I still don't think it sounds like there's an actual, tube amp or whatever amp in the room with me here. It just, I don't know. It's not breathing like an amp would. The feel is definitely better, but let me go back to my preset. That's my preset, which is a little bit louder. I don't know if you guys can notice that. Let me see, what's this? Yeah, so it's a little louder. I don't think I'm going to be changing over to the other method yet. I think it just needs more experimentation, and I'm confident, Chad's unbelievable with this stuff, so I'm confident he's just going to keep working at it. And when I have time, I will try to, fiddle around with it too, as far as the EQ goes. But I think I'm just going to stick with my favorite tones so far with the Helix are my two amp rig, 2 amp, whatever I call it. I don't remember what I called it on custom tone, but that's my favorite one because it's got the Fender, which I will put that on. Fender amps, which I believe is the US Deluxe Normal. So I think so far that's, like I said, that's my favorite tone. The couple of tones that I've come up with all combined into one preset, and then which I split up into 30 something presets for each song that we do on our list. But let me see, try this one. I don't know what that sounds through there, how that sounds, but it sounds really good out here. So I'm going to switch back. I am going to switch back to the direct sound. Bear with me. As I said, this is kind of new. It helps if I turn this up. You should be hearing the direct tone again, I think. So that is one of my presets, the Fender part of one of my presets. I'm gonna load up the Litigator OTB, and now there goes my editor again. I don't know what's going on. Let me go on the board and find it. The Litigator. Playing with the other one. So that's the Litigator. I need to shut down this editor again. It just says device not connected. Maybe it'll work in a few minutes. But any questions? I mean, I don't know what else I could show you just to hear. I just wanted you guys to hear something, you know, a comparison between the two for those that haven't tried out Chad's method yet. And again, I like it. It's definitely usable. I'll use it for something. I just don't know what yet. And I'm going to keep continuing to work with it and EQ it a little bit more. I am getting a ton of messages on Facebook right now, and I don't know. Sorry. Just letting someone, I don't know if he's here, Giovanni, letting him know that I'm on YouTube right now. Alright, so we still got a bunch of people here, so who is here? Who is here? Let's see what other, I don't remember what. The SLO Crunch channel. My opinion of using the Helix with tube amps just for effects. That was the initial thing that I, when I first got the Helix, well, the second time I got the Helix, this is my second go around with it. I was using it with a Friedman BE100 and it was great. once I figured out how to switch the channels on the Friedman, because their channel switching wasn't the same as like the JCM 2000, so I had to figure that out. And once I figured that out, it was a breeze to use. And the effects, you know, some guys don't like this effect or like this their pedals better, which is fine. With me, effects, I don't go crazy with them. If it's usable, I use it. And it's definitely every effect that's in this thing is usable. And you got to remember, your audience is not going to know the difference between if you're using the Helix, an effect on the Helix, or if you're using an actual pedal. And they don't really care. So it works fine that way, and I'm going to use it that way again in the future. I use it both ways. You know, it depends on the gig. If I'm using in-ears, I'm probably going to run direct. If I'm, you know, it's a big outdoor thing that we might be playing where I can really turn up. If I have an amp handy, I might use an amp. So it just depends on what the venue is. Marcel, oh, you like this guitar? Like I said in previous YouTube stuff, I got it on a trade for an Epiphone Les Paul. And I'm not a Les Paul guy, so it just worked out. A buddy of mine knows I play in a Bon Jovi tribute, and he had already upgraded, I believe it was the bridge pickup to a Pearly Gates, and he added a hip shot trem setter in the back, so it doesn't, the bar just dives down. It pulls up a little bit, but it's mostly diving down, and it's done me well for those type of shows. I've left it home the last couple of gigs because I'm enjoying my Strats a little more right now, but it's a very easy guitar to play, and for the cheap amount of money that they are, even when they were new, it's a pretty good guitar. Let's see. Eddie's asking the best way to sustain notes on a Helix, compressor or some other method. You're asking the wrong guy, because I hardly ever use a compressor. Every time I've used a compressor, I don't hear like, other than a volume jump or a volume drop, I don't really hear a difference. I know a lot of guys use them for their clean tones. When I use a regular amp, I don't run a compressor pedal that way, so with the Helix I didn't use it either. As far as sustain goes, I think a lot of it has to do with the type of tone and the type of guitar, type of pickups you're using. If you have like when I use my American Strat that has the Floyd on it, it's a very bluesy sounding guitar, so I only use that for like songs like "I'll Be There for You," "Lost Highway," that aren't really a heavy, rocking type of song. Just this way, and I know the solo is not. You're not going to be holding notes on those songs, so those notes are going to decay a lot faster. So I'll use my my other Strat, which has the DiMarzios in it, and I'll use different like more. I just use more the OD pedals. I'll just up the gain. I'll put the level all the way up, and usually that will get me the sustain that I need. I don't know if you're talking about sustain for like, I don't know, 20 seconds. I'm not sure that's possible. Let me see what I got here. Hold on. See, that is the SLO Crunch, so it's not a high gain preset. So let me go to one of mine and let me see how long. It's actually a good question. How long I can hold a note on this guitar anyway. So you notice that one a little bit longer because I had more overdrive on it, and there was just more juice to the tone. So I don't know if that answered your question, Eddie, but that's how I approach it. I just am not, and I've never been a guitar player that micromanages every little effect, every little nuance of playing. I just get a sound that I like and get some effects that to me sound pretty good and work in the song, and that's all I need. I don't need to sit there and you know, fiddle with dials and all that stuff. That drives me crazy. That's one of the reasons why I got rid of the Fractal, the AX8, was just because I was spending too much time. There were just way too many parameters in that thing. I was just spending too much time like turning this. Or will it give me a better tone? Will it add this to the tone? Will it take away what I'm hearing? Too much. So the Helix, in that regard, there's a lot in it, but there's less parameters, which is good, because when you're playing a tube amp, you basically have what's on the front panel. You have your EQ, you have your gain, and you know, if there might be reverb on there. You're not breaking open the back. Well, most guys aren't. You're not breaking open the back of the amp and, you know, going into capacitors and all this other stuff and trying. Just give me the amp, dial in what I need, and that's that. But some of you guys that are watching might be a little different, so nothing wrong with that either. What do we have here? What else? What else? I don't know what else I could say other than try. I definitely would download and Chad made them free, which are great. To download those OTB presets that he has up on the friendlygearfreaks.com. And also, I believe it's in the Facebook group. Download them and try them. I mean, it can't hurt to try. They're free. I just had a song in my head. I don't know why. I just started playing weird riffs there, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can show you guys that might be of interest. I mean, none of this might be of interest, but I appreciate you guys hanging around anyway. Let's see. I'm just going through my presets to see if there's anything a little different that you might want to hear. We got Keep the Faith. I think I did this already when I went through some preset tones. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did this. Oh, this is a cool preset. This is a cowboy solo. No, I don't feel like playing that. I've played that too many times. This is actually a preset that's on Custom Tone, and it's really cool. It's called Van Hagar. You may have tried it out. And I heard about this through Eric Broadbent's EVH Gear TV. It's real. It's got that like balance era Van Halen. Even from Level Con Knowledge, and like just right around there with Sammy after 5150, where Eddie was detuning and the spread on it. Let's see. I don't know if you're hearing it through your whatever you're listening through, but it's like a wide, big sound, like heavily processed, but it's really cool. Yeah, Johnny, wow, exactly. It's not anything that I would use live because that doesn't sound like Bon Jovi at all, but if you were playing in a Van Halen tribute band and doing some of the Sammy stuff, that tone right there is right on. The only problem I found with that is he's got two signal paths going on that are almost identical. So you're using a lot of the CPU on both of those paths. So you can't really... I tried to add some other effects in there, like a delay, and it wouldn't take it because it was already full. Yeah, it looks like both paths are identical, except on the first path he has two different pitch shifters. The simple pitch, it might be the simple pitches. One's going to minus 11 cents, and the other one's going to plus 11. Well, I think it was 9, but I put it to 11 because I think that's around where Eddie was. What else can I play? song is awesome. Pretty much one of the last songs that Van Halen did with Sammy, but it just sounds really cool. I like that. I keep it in my presets list just to mess around with. Again, it's Van Hagar, and I can't remember the guy's name that came up with it, but just search Van Hagar and it will come up on Custom Tone, and just put it in and just have some fun. Really cool tone. I like that. I gotta try to figure out a way to incorporate that into my using that. If I can get some more effects into it somehow, there's got to be a way. Something can probably be taken out and added in. It's usually I'm pretty sure it's the 5150 or the PV Panama amp models. I'm gonna keep looking down because my Helix is down here, and this editor is just not working. I'm gonna try to reboot it again. But yeah, check that out. Yeah, Eddie, you could put a delay pedal in the loop. I don't have any more pedals left. I got rid of anything. I have pretty much everything. The only pedal I have left, let me see if you can see this. The only pedal I have left is not really a pedal that does anything. And I don't even know who built this. And to tell you the truth, I don't even remember what the heck I used this thing for. It was it was some kind of a switching pedal, and I can't recall exactly what it's used for, but this is the last pedal I have left after getting the Helix for the second time. That's how much I like it. So, what time is it? Marcel, yeah, it could be a loop switcher. It's a very small one. Now that you brought that up, yeah, that kind of brings back some memories. I don't even remember which rig that I used this on. It was definitely a rig with a tube amp. I just don't remember which one. But the problem with this little pedal that I was using is that it was too small. So I have giant feet. So I think what happened was when I was stepping on it at a gig, I think I just broke it. I don't even know if it works anymore. I kept it around though. So like I said, that's the only, true bypass. Yep. That's the only pedal I have left, other than the Banshee Talkbox, which I have two of. I have a backup, but I'm still on the original one I got like 15 years ago. I'm trying to think of a Van Halen, like a Sammy era Van Halen song that I might know to play with this tone. I'm like into it right now. I feel like playing any Bon Jovi. I've played Bon Jovi about 10 million times. What else? What else is there that I know? That's all I used to know was Van Halen. That's what got me into guitar. So there's not much I remember. My backup live rig is I have the Atomic amplifier, the red 3-button one, and I have 6 basic tones programmed into it. So there's 3 buttons. Button 1 is clean to a little dirty when you engage it. Button 2 is main rhythm, and in main rhythm with a longer delay. And button 3 is my lead, which is a little louder, and in lead with a longer delay. So if I needed to, I just unplug a couple of things on the Helix, put that next to the board, and I'm good to go. But so far, knock on wood, the Helix has no problems with it whatsoever. Yep, always take a modeler. It's the easiest thing. And then Atomic has an amplifier box now, which is the size of a pedal, and it's basically you know, you could keep that on your board. You wouldn't even have to keep it off your board. Keep it on your board, and that would make a great backup rig right there. You can load, I think, up to nine different presets into it, and it stores impulse responses, and I think they just added delay to it. I think it has a reverb in it, and it's all done via the editor. I might have to get one of those at some point, and just put it on my board and not have to take the regular amplifier in my case back here that you can see. It's buried in there somewhere. But yeah, it's that just came out recently. You guys have probably heard of it. I love the Atomic stuff. Nothing bad to say about those guys. That stuff just. I started with the Atomic amplifier, and I probably would have stayed with it if they had. Now they have the 12 button one. If that had been out at the time, I maybe would have stayed with that, because the 3 button just wasn't flexible enough for me personally, for what I need, you know, on stage. But I used it for a little while. It just became a thing where I just needed more, and that's when I went to Fractal. I went to the Helix, and I think I went to Helix first, and then to Fractal, and then back to the Helix. Is that how that goes? How does that go? I know so many bits and pieces of songs, it's not even funny anymore. And a lot of times I get to the best part, and that's when I forget how to play it. So, so do I think the Atomic unit amp tones are on par with Helix and Fractal? Definitely. The amp tones themselves, all three I think are very similar. It's just figuring out which way to dial each one in, and you can get them similar. Where there's a difference is the effects. Obviously the Fractal effects are, you know, known to be world class and up there. The Helix effects aren't far behind that. And again, I don't really care about effects, so that doesn't bother me. The amplifier effects, I think they're gonna get there. I just don't think they're there yet, as far as not so much the sound quality. It's just so much like the quantity of effects that they have. So, but they are good. I don't know. I'm liking this tone, this Van Hagar tone. Whoever it is, if you're watching, if you see this video, thank you. Drop me a line, because this is a really cool tone. See, you were asking about sustain eddies. So using this, which has even more gain and stuff, obviously there's more sustain. Do I know any XYZ? Oh man, I used to know, they're the one with Inside Out, right? I used to know Inside Out. I can't remember how that goes. I can't even, because I'm thinking Inside Out by XYZ, but when I go to play it, I'm thinking. Something was out of tune. But I think you know what that TNT. No, I don't know any TNT. I know this should be drop D, but this guitar does not have the D tuner on it. All right, well, I think we're getting to the end of this here. Again, download Chad's OTB presets. They're definitely worth taking a look at and a playthrough and mess around with them. You might come up with something that might even improve on them. I think that's what Chad wants everybody to do. Yes, Rat's cool, Eddie. So again, they're at the friendlygearfreaks.com and also the Line 6 Helix group on Facebook. I think you can get them there. I downloaded them. Like I said, you heard them today. Let me go back to the Plexi OTB. Now see what when I'm talking about a stereo spread. It's back. The sound is back. And granted, it doesn't have the pitch detune on it, but it just kind of goes center, is what I'm hearing. But all right, so before I wrap this up, any other questions or any comments, suggestions, anything? Checking out Facebook right now. Let's see. I will do this again at some point soon, maybe even tomorrow. If anybody has any ideas, it just depends on time. Again, the easiest time for me to do this is usually mornings, Eastern Standard Time. Back to the Van Halen. I can't get enough of this now. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if it sounds as good to you as it does to me through these speakers here, but it sounds damn good. Alright, who's still here with me? Got a few people left. I'm going to wrap this up. I keep saying that and then I keep playing because I like what I'm hearing. I'm going to say goodbye, sign off, all that stuff. Again, if you like this, subscribe to my channel and you'll be alerted when I'm going to do this again. If you have any ideas, any questions, let me know. And we will leave it at that. So thank you guys for coming on and hanging out with me today. It's always a lot of fun. Definitely check out that Van Hagar preset and custom tone. Even if you're not going to use it for your band or whatever, just I'm telling you, just download it and play it at home. It is a blast. See you, Eddie. See you, Marcel, and see you, everybody else. Goodbye.